So as you can see, this is where I started out, right? Looking at my little fake fireplace. I do have the heat turned off, but anyways, um, I hope everyone's having a wonderful Saturday evening. And I just got back from a fair that was in a little town right outside of the town I live at and or live in, whatever. But it started raining, downpour, so wasn't there very long. I mean, really not long at all. But before I went, um, I was listening on YouTube, and I was listening to a little bit of noodle mashes. I didn't get the beginning. It was, later on, I don't know, like around the end, I think, of her video. And I guess Mrs. Portland, or whoever she wants to go by now, I guess she said she didn't want to go by Mrs. P or Mrs. Portland. So I guess we're supposed to call her Kelly. I don't know what we're supposed to call her. I like to call creators, by who they want to be, who they go by. I don't know with her. She changes her name, on YouTube all the time. So I'm not sure. I want to be respectful. Anyways, so I guess we're going to stick with Mrs. Portland because I did see people in her chat that were calling her that. But her name is Kelly on, that's her name she's going by on her channel. So anyways, we'll still say Mrs. P, Mrs. Portland. Okay. That's what, everybody knows her by. And people in her chat were still calling her Mrs. Portland, whatever. So I did go and started listening to her channel, and boy, interesting. But when I was listening, I backed it up so I could get, from the beginning, and she put it on private. So of course I didn't get to hear it all. Yeah, put it on private so you didn't get struck there, Mrs. P, right? That's what happened. You didn't want to get struck. You didn't want to leave it up. I mean, you did say later that, you just want to walk away. That's what you keep saying. You just want to walk away. You just want to move on, be happy doing your crafts. And that's why you took it down. No, it said that the user put it on private, and in my opinion, she did that so that Noodle Mash didn't go strike her, because she was playing the audio. Now, I'm not sure. I think you can play audio, as long as you're not streaming somebody's video. Now, I do know some of what, TOS is, and you can play somebody's, video as long as you do commentary, right? You got to be really careful, because other creators can strike you. Now, I will never do that. I'm never going to, well, I can't say never, when I go live or whatever. I can never say never because you just don't know what you might do in the future. And that can come back and bite me in the butt, and people can say you lied, right? So I don't want to say never, but I kind of want to put my own content out there and, not put somebody else's. That's just, my opinion, and that's how I want to do things. But a lot of people do put, they do commentary. A lot of clip channels, or they will go over somebody else's, content, and they will point different things out, and they will talk and say, this is what happened, or, you guys all know what I'm talking about. So again, I don't want to say never, that I will never do that, but right now I have no intentions of doing that. But I think Mrs. Portland, she needs somebody that's on her team, her mods, or whatever, whoever's given her uh, direction, guidance, needs to tell her what TOS actually is, and what she can and cannot do. Because she said she even showed proof that she went over and she struck Noodle Mash. For what? Because she's talking about her? Mrs. Portland has been going on and on and on for what? A week? Over a week, talking about Noodle Mash, and she started it first, like she always does. Now, we're going to put out some truths here. Again, I have done some videos on Mrs. Portland. I have. Pointing out the lies. I talk about behaviors. That's on my About section. So, now, she does have some people in her community, right, that they believe that she's being attacked. They believe these lies. I'm sorry, but the stuff is out there. Mrs. Portland is known. She is known. That's why she doesn't have watch hours. She is known to put videos out there and to put community posts and to take them down. But other people have went and they have downloaded them and clipped them, and they have them. There's proof of her lies. And we're going to go over them. We're going to go over some of them. I did in my last video. I said we're not going to do that because a lot of people already know. But Mrs. Portland, she has a habit of taking other people's videos and putting them on her community wall. She did one of mine just recently and called me Portland Archives, when clearly it says that I'm Stargazer. Now, she already accused me once before of being somebody that I'm not, and I had to prove that wrong, because she will go off of what anybody says, and she goes with it as fact without checking anything out. That's a problem when you're a creator. Okay? I do get it. Some people will put some things out there and they don't vet it correctly. But Mrs. Portland does it, somebody will tell her something and she just goes with it. She goes with it as being the truth. And you cannot do that. I've already said it before. In my opinion, this drama circle is not a place for her. I did not say, okay, I'm not saying because she likes to twist things and say that people said something that they didn't. I did not say she does not belong on YouTube. I said, in my opinion, she does not belong in this drama circle because she cannot handle it. She can't handle it. She takes things the wrong way. She twists the truth. She lies. She can't handle clapback. She doesn't know what clapback is. She thinks people attack her when they don't. If they just don't want her in their community anymore, she believes that is an attack. Okay? If they are just saying, hold on, just wait, or, even if they give her advice, maybe you should do it this way or that way, then they are hate attacking her. You cannot, in my opinion, she doesn't have the tough skin for this community. This drama circle, and this isn't the right place for her. She already says that she's triggered easily. It's very clear the way she puts things out on her wall, and she's like, she says it over and over. She could put whatever she wants out on her wall. Well, I'm sorry. You might think you can, You know, that freedom of speech that a lot of people want to say that they have, but sometimes that comes with consequences, right? Now, the first thing that we're going to go over is some of the lies that she said in the past and what she's doing now. Um, Now, she already stated, and it's out there. All yeah, this is the thing. This community that she has, um, they might not know because they're just sticking with her. Uh, she's already went through a lot of not subs, I'm sorry, mods before who she has already shit on because they didn't have the time for her. They couldn't be at her beck and call. And she has really went hardcore after. They have sent her gifts, donated money. And like I said, because they couldn't be at her beck and call and they treated her wonderfully, okay? They treated her great. She has been very nasty. Very nasty to them. So just a warning to her new mods. She's did it to all of them. She has done this behavior to every community that has accepted her in. All right. And they've already forgave her. Yes, she will go on that. I'm sorry for my behavior. I did this wrong. I know it. I'm accepting it. But then she does the same behavior over and over again. And she does some horrible things. She says some horrible things. And it's clear that she can control herself when she wants to. We've seen it. We have seen her control herself. But when she feels, that she's being attacked because, people don't want her in their community anymore, then she will be very vicious. And we already, the videos are out there. She did, remember when she wished the C virus on all of our children, right? She wished the virus on a sick child, a creator's child that was sick. And she said, I hope he does have the C virus and ends up in the hospital. And I hope that creator does as well. And then she wished it on all of us. And here's the thing. We all know that the C virus has killed a lot of people, right? Right? So is that something that, should have been taken lightly, brushed under the rug, knowing that a lot of us has been affected? A lot of us has lost loved ones to the C virus. But a lot of people forgave her for that. They did. They forgave her. And she's like, I own it. I'm sorry. There's always a but after every apology. Always. She has talked about deceased friends, deceased relatives. Okay? That's a fact. She has lied over and over and over again. People have the videos out there. All you have to do is type in her name on YouTube and they come up. She went on, what is it? BX? Is that his name? And she lied. Somebody went up there and said, did you make a video on Natasha's niece? You did make a video. It was calling her niece a black sheep. And singing, Natasha has a black sheep in the family. And she flat out said, I did not make no such video. And she got all upset and dropped off that panel. I did not make that video. I did not do it. That video is still out there. All you have to do is type her name and type in that video and you will see it. She lied. She says she's not a liar. That's why I'm pointing this all out. She lied about her child. And no, I'm not bringing up anything that she has not put out there, because I don't talk about children. We all know what happened around Christmas last year, okay? But she brought this up recently. She just said on one of her lives, in the last week and a half? No, in the last week, I think, that her son was there at Christmas, because it was said that she was getting donations at Christmas time for her son. We all know what happened with that fiasco. But she was on a month ago, and it's still up. The video is still up on Brutally Lauren. She was up on panel. She was asked specifically about seeing her son. And she said that she seen him at graduation. And before that, it was 2.5 years because of the C virus. And then she was specifically asked, because questions were being asked in chat about the Christmas, because that was such a big thing, because she was asking for donations for her son at Christmas. And she said, I did not get to see him for his birthday, nor did I get to see him for Christmas because of the C virus. It's been 2.5 years. But yet she just said on her live for her community that he was there at Christmas. Go to Brutally Lauren. The video is still up with Mrs. P on panel. It was about a month ago where she was up on panel. Okay? So we're just pointing out some of the lies, because she has a very bad habit of lying. And I'm going to get to my point of why I'm pointing some of this out. I mean, a lot of people already know this. She lied about what happened in Natasha's community. Why she left the first time, that's what started this whole mess to begin with. That's how we got to know who Mrs. Portland was. She lied about what happened of getting removed the first time in Natasha's community, when all these other communities took her in. And then she lied when they decided, all these other communities decided, no, we don't want her in our community because it's toxic. So she lied on them and said they were hate attacking her, and that's not true. They just didn't want her in their community. That was it. That's when she wished the C virus on everybody, right? And then she went to another creator. She only had one creator that allowed her in their community. And they bought her basically her whole Christmas. A lot of nice things. But she left them to go back to Natasha's community, right? And she was in Natasha's community. And after she left Natasha's community the second time, and we'll get to that in a minute, but her husband and her said that all those Christmas presents that creator got her, they threw it away because it was nothing but junk. And there's a video out there of her unboxing. That is the video that showed she was lying about her child. But she was unboxing all these gifts that creator sent her. And probably that was her entire Christmas, right? Some very nice gifts. And her husband said, we threw it away. It was all junk. There was a lot of makeup, there was some jewelry in there, a lot of nice things that somebody else that didn't have anything would have appreciated. But not Mrs. P. No, it was junk, so they threw it away. So just saying, this is how she operates, okay? She doesn't get her way. She throws the stuff away, and she has threw a lot of, at least she has said, she has threw away a lot of gifts from a lot of people that have spent their hard-earned money buying her and took their time to go mail it because of her throwing a temper tantrum like a child. So then she goes into Natasha's community. Natasha welcomed her back a second time. And then she lied about the reason why she left and wasn't welcome the second time, okay? Because Natasha and her community did nothing wrong. Natasha was going through a death in the family, and Mrs. P was making it all about her. And she was making community post after community post, video after video after video about Natasha when Natasha was going through this. That's the truth, no matter, we were there, we seen it, okay? Natasha's community was very good to Mrs. Portland. Natasha was good to Mrs. Portland until she kept doing all this. And it just didn't stop, and it didn't stop. It just kept going, and it kept going. There's videos out there to prove it. She lied about the entire thing. Now on to Sally Ann. I mean, there's so much more in between. But in my opinion, she is the reason that there is friendship. And I said this in one of my other videos. The friendships ended, and there is such chaos between CJ, Sally Ann, and Robbie. Okay? And there's all this drama going on because of the Krama Awards. Because she wasn't nominated. And she got her feelings hurt. I'm sorry, but if you're not putting out any content at all, which she wasn't. I mean, she's a creator, but she wasn't doing anything on her channel. So she got her feelings hurt. So she was mad at CJ. So she went and she wanted to talk to Sally Ann about it, and she was upset. But Sally Ann, who took her under her wing and was teaching her how to do the paint pour, that's where she learned it from, right? She learned her craft from Sally Ann. Sally Ann and her other mod was dealing with a real life crisis outside of YouTube and couldn't be at her beck and call because Mrs. Portland said that I have, some people that call me several times a day off of YouTube, which was Sally Ann and this other mod, and because they could not get with Mrs. Portland because she was upset about these Krama Awards, about not being nominated, and she went on and on and on our community post and videos. We seen it all. We all did. Then she got mad at she was already mad at CJ, but she got mad at Sally Ann, and she got mad at another creator that has some very serious health issues and said some very, I'm sorry, she's not a creator, she's a sub. She said some very vile things about her, and this person did not do anything to Mrs. Portland and this other mod because they could not be at her beck and call, and she caused all this chaos that we see not too long ago, right? And caused friendships to break. And in my opinion, caused other friendships to break with Robbie, because Robbie had some other friends that he lost because they did not agree with what happened with Sally Ann, this whole thing, and what was said and what was what was done. And Robbie was really frustrated because he's trying to, he's close with Mrs. Portland, and they were coming at Robbie and saying, we don't agree with what Mrs. Portland is doing. And he was standing up for Mrs. Portland, and he tossed away some friendships. Because a lot, in my opinion, was being put on Robbie. And he has his own real life things going on. I've already said that before. So in my opinion, Mrs. Portland did cost a lot of friendships because of her tantrums. And then she goes on the, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for my behavior. I'm so sorry. But there's always that but afterwards, right? That but. And then she said, Sally Ann and all of them went on the attack. There was no words said about her right after it happened until she kept going on and on and on, talking about, their looks. And of course, a bunch of community posts. We all seen them, the pigs and everything else, her throwing the tantrum. That's the truth. People have the clips, okay? People clip them. The videos are out there. So we're going to move along from that. Like I said, there is so much more in between. It's not even funny. Then she goes, she's in lichens. Now, she goes after another creator about her son who's deceased and says some really nasty things directly about her son. Okay? Against her son. Not about just the parenting, but about her son. And Lycan said, I know what she said was wrong. She's not welcome in this community anymore. That was going below the belt. And he didn't agree with it. So she goes on the attack on Lycan, like she does every other community that she's in. Okay? Because somebody doesn't agree with what she does, and they put their foot down and say, no, we're not giving her a pass anymore. You can only say, I'm sorry for your bad behavior and what you do, so many times, and we're not going to put up with this anymore. So she went on the attack again, video after video, community post. She cannot walk away. She can't. Not only that, but then she goes after Lycan's girlfriend. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Now, she does a lot of lying. We already know this is not the first community she has been in, right? She was in another community before she came over here. And she caused a lot of issues. Now, she wants to turn the story around and say that this other creator stalked her and looked in her windows and all this other nonsense. Absolute nonsense, okay? But her lies, she's been caught in so many. I mean, come on, we just seen her go through her house, right? We heard that her videos are out there of the second bedroom, right? What was the second bedroom that she said it was all set up for her son? We seen what the second bedroom looks like. It's a storage unit. It's never been set up for anybody. There's no bed, no nothing. More lies. So, we're going to get to Noodle Mash. because this is what the video is about too. Um, who is the one that has the track record of lying? Mrs. Portland? Yes. Now, like I said, there is so much more. So much more. But I'm just kind of recapping just the tip of the iceberg. Okay? Now, what I listened to today, like I said, I didn't get through all of it. But somebody needs to tell her what what is strikeable and what's not. When you're in the drama community, people are going to clap back. If you're going to talk about somebody, they have every right to clap back. All right? And that's what happens in the drama community. She wants to keep talking about everybody else, but if they dare mention her name, oh, they're hate attacking me. They're hate attacking me. And then she pulls the because I'm disabled. You can't do that, Mrs. Portland, okay? You know exactly what you're doing. And a lot of people want to say, well, the husband, they feel bad for him and yada, yada, yada. Well, not only is he enabling her, in my opinion, he's in on it. He's in on the whole thing because he's sitting on his computer and he's feeding her a lot of the stuff. He's grabbing emails and it's like a team now. It's a team on this channel. You hear him, he's a part of the whole thing. All right? And he knows the truth. He knows the truth, so he's not innocent in this at all. He plays along with whatever she dishes out there. So, back to this thing that's going on now with Noodle. Well, first, we're going to go with the other creator. She already put out lies, okay? And I covered this in my other video. I said, it doesn't matter. The thing, she said somebody sent it to her, and she put out that this other creator is transgender. She was so proud. Yep, you heard it here first, okay? And I said, even if that was true, it was nobody's business. But it is not true. And then she puts up community post and even another video. Now, all of them are down. See, that's the thing. She keeps taking everything down, right? For one, you're never going to get your watch hours when you keep putting up garbage like that, especially when it's not true. But she uses, and I'm not going to say the name because you are doxing a family member. I'm not sure if it's true doxing because it's just using the first name, but still, you're going real life, Mrs. Portland. Yeah, you do that. You've done it quite often, haven't you? Going real life? Yeah, you have. You wouldn't like it done to you. You don't like it done to you. Why are you going real life on other people? But this creator, the only reason why she's attacking this creator who was very nice to her, okay, stood up for her, the only reason why she is doing this to her is because she's the girlfriend of Lycan. All right? Or that's the story that's out there. I don't know if it's true, if they're boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever. But that's the only reason. She doesn't like Lycan. And I don't, here's the thing. I don't care These people that I'm mentioning, okay, I don't care if you have a beef or don't like these people. And I'm going to put this out there. What is right and what's wrong is wrong. And I'm just talking about what Mrs. Portland is doing is wrong. All right? No matter if you like these people or not, this is strictly about what Mrs. Portland is putting out there and doing to these people. It's absolutely wrong. All right? So I just want to make myself clear on that. Because I don't know much about some of these people that I'm talking about. I don't. And it doesn't matter. What she is saying and doing is wrong. So she put that out there, very proud, and even her husband in the background is saying, "Yeah, this woman is really a dude." Okay, because they got this inside information, they got the scoop, and then they're saying, this name, this man's name. Yep, this is who she used to go by. Yep. Well, apparently, this creator has put it out there that name is her father's name. Okay? That's my father. So Mrs. P is just going off of whoever is giving her information. She is just putting it out there as the truth. She doesn't care. And as a creator, you got to watch it. Okay? And again, you're going real life. So she also today she put out I don't know, a mugshot, and she even takes the time out to print it off and print off what the same creator, the same whatever they did wrong. Don't know if this is true or not. And she even said, I don't know if it's true or not. I was sent this or whatever, so I'm putting it out there. Again, going real life. Because she doesn't care. And this creator did nothing wrong. And then she says, and the story is, what I've been told, is she is pregnant. Well, didn't you just put out what? This past week that she's a man? Well, geez. Which is it? How can she be pregnant? Man. She's going to become a millionaire. I hope she knows that. If she's really a man and now she's pregnant, she's going to become a millionaire. Wow. But the thing that really got to me is not just all that, which again, none of your business, okay? And not something you should be putting out there if it's true, not true. And then somebody in the chat or whatever, like I said, I was listening. I had to go back. I wasn't listening to it in real time. I guess somebody said, is it lichens? Nope, it's not lichens. And then the husband had to say, not word for word, okay, but apparently she's pregnant by a black man. Now, if this whole story was true, okay, what difference does it make what color the man is? But we all know from past videos that Mrs. Portland, she is anybody that's, not white, she's had some issues with. We all know that. The videos are out there, right? Yeah. They're already out there. People have already clipped them. And then she even said afterwards too, yeah, uh, the story's out there that it's a black man, and she repeated that a couple of times, and then of course, you know, she deleted the community post, and then she goes on and I did want to put that out there. Now, she also did a video on another creator that was asking for assistance for utilities, right? And Mrs. Portland had to say, she did a video and she also did a community post that, well, I needed assistance this month too. And I think she even put out that she got assistance for $177, and they got a disconnect notice, and they had to go down and get assistance. You know, they had to go get help because they didn't have the money this month to pay theirs. So they went and got assistance too. And how dare this other creator, you know, ask people and beg people on, you know, the net, when they could have went down and got assistance like they did. And I'm thinking to myself, Mrs. Portland just got, in the month, I believe it was August, she had donations on her PayPal for like $460 some, right? Or $460 or whatever. And instead, knowing that she had this utility bill and she put it out there of $170 some, whatever, instead of paying that utility bill, right? She went and bought more craft stuff and bought stuff off of Amazon, knowing that she had a utility bill that was due. So my point is how dare you call somebody else out, right? When you yourself was in a situation where you couldn't pay your utility bill, but you got donations. You got enough donations to pay your utility bills, but instead of paying it, you used it to buy craft supplies, to buy necklaces, to buy yourself stuff, instead of a necessity, like keeping your electric on, but you went and got assistance that could have helped somebody else that, you know, doesn't have a channel and didn't have people donate to them. That's my point. So again, some of the people that I mentioned, I didn't mention a lot of people by names, but I don't know a whole lot about them. And the point is, it doesn't matter, you know, if other people might have issues with them. We're talking about what Mrs. Portland has said and done to them. It's not okay. Not when she's sitting and doing the same thing, or she's putting this garbage out there, right? She's putting this garbage out there when it's not true, or if somebody is sending her something, or she's making it up just to get people to watch her. It's disgusting, and nobody should be okay with it. Nobody. So we're going to move on to Noodle Mash, all right? Because she's told so many lies, and Noodle has put the proof out there. And this is what is really, people should really take notice. She's already put a proof out there, and Mrs. Portland has already lied about so many things. I'm not even going to go into how Mrs. Portland has already said before. There was a video out there where she said Noodle never She was one of the few people when she introduced her to her husband. I seen that video. It's long gone, okay? Because Mrs. Portland had another channel that was taken down. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But she said when she introduced her to her husband that she said, this is the one that never bullied me in high school. She didn't bully me. That's how she introduced Noodle Mash to her husband. And we've seen the text messages between, well, Facebook messages between the two that Noodle Mash showed. Does that look like bullying? Okay. Mrs. Portland never, before Noodle Mash even came on the scene here, before we knew anything about Noodle Mash, right? We heard Mrs. Portland's story of why she moved. She never said, like she's saying now, she never said, well, there was this person that I lived by that just kept harassing me and I had to move. That never came out of her mouth until now. She said the reason why she moved was because of health issues. She would have said, if somebody was bullying and harassing her, and that's one of the reasons why she had to move, she would have said it, because Mrs. Portland puts all of her stuff out there. She kind of reminds you of somebody. Let's talk about that real quick. A lot of the things that she has been saying lately, who does she remind you of? She has been saying with a smirk and a smile, right? She's been saying, you're jealous of me. Your crafts suck. They're horrible. You're just jealous of everything I have. Your views suck. You're just, the only way that you can get any views is to talk about me. You're jealous of my success. Okay, moving on. We seen, like I said, on the Facebook, the texts were put out there. All right. Noodle says she did not live right next door. Okay. And the only way that she can prove that wrong is if she gave her address, and she shouldn't have to do that. She said the only thing that she lied about is she did say that I don't live there anymore. And the reason why she lied about that is because she still lives there. And Mrs. Portland put out a picture. We all remember that, right? It's been deleted. She put a picture of the apartment complex and said, this is where Noodle Mash lives. We seen that. She doxed where she lived. And when Noodle said that on her live, Mrs. Portland, because Mrs. Portland was streaming her audio, right? And she's like, so what if I did that? I live there too. Mrs. Portland, you still doxed where she lived. Just because you lived there at one point doesn't mean that you can do that. You are putting out somebody's where somebody lives, and you even, when you put that picture out, you said she lives in this apartment. This is the building that she lives at. Just because you used to live there doesn't give you the right to be able to do that. For some reason, she thinks she has the right to do that. Just because she used to live there. Make that make sense. You doxed where she lived. So yes, Noodle Mash said, I did lie. That's one thing I did lie about and say I don't live there anymore, because she put my apartment complex where I live, which can be dangerous, right? I mean, we know that Mrs. Portland said she moved away. She doesn't live there anymore. So then she goes on again. Noodle Mash showed her proof of when she moved in to that apartment complex, but Mrs. Portland still wants to say that she lived, that Noodle Mash has harassed her and she lived by her for 14 years. That's not the truth. Noodle Mash showed her proof that she didn't live there that long. I forgot how many years it was. Was it like 6 or 7 years? Something like that. But Mrs. Portland is still sticking to the story that it was 14 years. After Noodle Mash showed her proof. But some people are too blind to, look at it in black and white. And Mrs. Portland still wants to go by, yes, I lived in the, right next door. We, basically shared the same wall. And Noodle Mash is like, no, we didn't. We didn't even live in the same building. I mean, it's crazy. Now, there's so much more to be said. Now, I've already been going on for about an hour. But there was this truce, okay, with the help of Robbie. Like I said, Robbie is trying to, he's got his own life. He doesn't need to be in between these two women fighting, right? And he worked out a truce, or he was in the middle or whatever, and Mrs. Portland broke it because there's another creator out there. I don't know much about her either, but she has a beef with Noodle. And she's trying to cause, in my opinion, trying to cause issues. Now, it was already broke once. I guess, they're not supposed to be talking about each other. And if they have an issue, they are supposed to come to each other and talk it out, right? And Miss Portland broke it. And she went on her live. And I guess this other creator was saying, that I guess from what I gather, Mrs. Portland did a live, and one of Noodle's mods was over in Mrs. Portland's chat and whatever, okay? Noodle already said before, her people can go wherever they want to go. So there was, I know that live, there was, trolls. There's going to be trolls wherever you go, all right? But I don't agree with that. I let Mrs. Portland do her thing. But the thing is Mrs. Portland is blaming it on Noodle Mash. And this other creator is saying that Noodle Mash knew all about it. It's her fault, blah, 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 blah. So, Mrs. Portland is making a big deal about it. And instead of going to Noodle Mash and asking her about it, like an adult would do, she put it, and she said, she would talk to her and not, go live about it or whatever. She did anyways, broke the truce. And I guess, Noodle forgave her for doing that. They called a truce again. But this other creator keeps wanting to, interfere with this truce because she's got a problem with Noodle Mash. And this keeps going on, and it's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. There was people that went in to this live, okay, that might have been Noodle's mods, or even maybe some people in Noodle's chat. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Noodle cannot control, and she shouldn't have to, where her people go, right? And this person, her mod or whatever, because I did see who it was, they weren't being nasty to Mrs. Portland. All right? They weren't being nasty. So I'm going to break it down for Mrs. Portland because she's blaming this all on Noodle Mash. She's not mad at all the nasty people. There were some nasty people in there that were being nasty and horrible. She doesn't care about them. Again, why not? Why not all these nasty people that were being gross? She's worried about this one mod of Noodle, all right? So we're going to break it down for Mrs. Portland to understand, since she wants to say this about Noodle. Before we do that, another one, that Mrs. Portland went after, and Noodle didn't say a word. And Noodle, I think, don't quote me, I think she's friends with this other creator. When Mrs. Portland went after her deceased son, Noodle Mash did not say anything. A lot of us, we did call it out. And we said that's why Lycan, said you're not a part of this community anymore. A lot of us called it out because it was disgusting. But Noodle Mash didn't say a word because she had this truce with Mrs. Portland. Now, I'm not going to speak for Noodle Mash because I don't know if she wanted to or not, but she didn't. She didn't say a word. No community post, no video, no nothing. She didn't say a word about this. So, anyways, moving on from that, I'm going to break this down for Mrs. Portland to try to understand. Now, what if one of Mrs. Portland, what if one of your mods, okay, one of your mods went into Noodle Mash's chat and went under an alt, and a couple of your chatters was over there, and they were trolling her, and one of them might even have made a threat. Don't know. But let's say, because this mod of Noodle Mashes didn't make any threats. They didn't. I seen it. I watched. But let's say that your people were over there and you knew nothing about it. You're watching TV with your hubby, watching a football game or doing a craft or whatever. You had no idea what was going on, even though you're watching everybody's videos. We know that. But let's say you were watching TV with your hubby. You had no clue what was going on. And the next day, you're getting a video made about you, calling you out because somebody that's got a beef with you sent Noodle Mash an email saying that your mod and your people were over in Noodle's chat trolling her when you guys had a truce. And Noodle's now mad at you. And instead of Noodle coming to you personally to find out what was going on, she went live about you, calling you every name in the book, calling you a bitch like you've been doing to her, calling you, toothless like you've been calling her, and calling you everything under the sun. What would you say? You would be saying, I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't know my people were over there. And I can't help it. I didn't tell them to go over there. I was watching TV with my husband. I didn't know what was going on. I can't control what they do. I don't tell them to go anywhere. How am I supposed to know what they do? That's exactly what you would be saying. Because you can't control your people. They do what they do. And I'm sure they troll too. Okay, just saying. That's exactly the scenario here. See how stupid that sounds? This is what Noodle was trying to say. She wasn't in your chat. It's absolutely ridiculous. And you never went to her. You did listen to somebody else on the outside. You didn't have a truce with, or a truce, whatever. But when she tried to get a hold of you by email, no, you're not gonna respond back to her because you might get mad, and you don't wanna get mad. You don't wanna reply back and get triggered. But you'll respond back to the other creator that's sending you this information. Now, yes, some other creators that might be friends with her, they might have thought it was funny because they seen a lot of trolls coming in there. That has nothing to do with Noodle Mash. Just because she's friends with other people, you're friends with people she doesn't like. Okay? That's okay. You're allowed to be friends with people she doesn't like. That's completely fine. Right? But she's not allowed to be friends with people you don't like. That's not how it works. Now, she also did not threaten you. That is another lie. That video it's out there. The clip is out there. What she said, and she said she even told you, is that you have to be careful because you're worried about being monetized. And the clip is out there, the clip is out there. And I even remember Mrs. Portland saying herself that her one channel, because we all seen it disappear, right? When she kept putting up a bunch of, nasty stuff and threatening to hurt herself. And the channel disappeared, right? She even said that her channel was terminated and she had to start over. She also said she bought subs on that one, just like she said she bought subs on this one. We'll talk about that in a minute. But there's a clip out there. One of the channels has it. I forgot which one it is, where she has it in writing, where she said that her email and channel was terminated and that it was going to have to be put in her husband's name. So what Noodle said is, you have to be careful. She never said ever that she was going to try to take your channel down once you try to get monetized or once you were close to being monetized. She never said that. It never came out of her mouth. She clipped exactly what she said. You're lying again. She absolutely did not say that. I mean, the lies are insane. And yes, when you get monetized, if you are ban evading, and I think that might have been what she was talking about, that's when YouTube is going to look at you, is when you get monetized. So she never said she was going to try to take you down, ever. And when she's doing these videos, she is only addressing what you're doing. You're the one that keeps going and going and going. And you keep saying you're walking away. But you keep making community posts and you keep doing a video and community post and a video addressing the same situation. And then when Noodle goes live to address it, then you keep going and going. It's not Noodle that keeps it going. You have been doing it since last Friday. And all she's doing is coming back, clopping back, and saying, this is not true. I did not say that. And proving that she did not say it. But you have been keeping it going since Friday. And you say, there was a threat in there. I'm sorry. You said you might want to private that video, and I'm sure that one of the clip channels has it. You said that you know where she lives. Keep messing with me or whatever. I know where you live. That's a that anybody could take that as a threat, right? You also said in another one about punching someone in the nose. Someone can take that as a threat. Now, you got to give it. I mean, come on. You know, you're on mobility scooters. You don't drive. I don't think you're going to travel anywhere to hurt anybody. But when you put stuff out there on YouTube like that, people can report your channel for a threat. Those are legit threats. Not talking about somebody and saying, stop lying about me. You know it's not true. And saying that if it doesn't stop, I'm going to have to take this legal. That is not a threat. Okay? That's not a threat. People are allowed to take things legal. If they feel that enough is enough, they can take it legal. That's not a threat. But when you make statements, you know, that you're going to punch somebody in the nose, or I know where you live, or I'm going to expose you. Somebody's got some information and I'm going to expose everything. Or putting their picture of their apartment complex and saying this is where they live. Or, you know, some of the other stuff you did. Yeah, that's beyond that. That's going real life. Okay? So those are big no-nos on YouTube. Big no-nos. Just saying. Those are things that will get you to where you won't be able to get monetized. Now, I don't know what the real truth is. I don't know if she actually is ban evading and got her channel taken down, because that's what she said happened. And then she said, you know, that she took it down herself. I can't see her taking it down herself when she had over 1,000 some subs, even though we know she bought subs. She said she did. She even said on this channel she wants to brag about her subs. She even said on this one that she bought subs. All right? Because she wants to brag. My sub count is going up, which, you know, a lot of people, they did sub to her because they could not find her. A lot of people were wanting to find her just to find, you know, when she puts out these nasty, vile videos and community posts, a lot of people were saying, I'm going to sub to her just so that I can find her, because she kept changing her name and they couldn't find her. So, you know, if that is something to be proud about, of having subs that are not there to support you, then I guess, okay, if that's what you want. And then, you know, when you get monetized too, I'm sure that they look at your channel and make sure everything is in the up and up and make sure everything is good to go. And I don't think that they would, you know, really like when you are calling people, I don't know. I don't know how they do that. But calling people bitches and, you know, the threats and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know if they look at all that. But here's another thing. Not once has Noodle Mash that I've heard or seen has made fun of Mrs. Portland. Has she called her a bitch? Has she threatened her in any way? But I have heard Mrs. Portland making fun of her, calling her bitch continuously, calling her the nastiest names, okay? This, Christian woman, this sweet gal that just wants to move on with her life and do her crafts and everyone leave her alone. She doesn't want all this negativity in her life, even though she is putting up this nasty stuff about these other creators, right? She doesn't want the nasty or negativity in her life. She just wants to do her crafts. But this is what she's doing to other creators too. We just seen it tonight. And a couple other nights. And she will not stop talking about Noodle. But see, she is getting some views from it. So, who's all about the views and clicks? Yeah. Okay. People are asking her, when are you going to do some crafts? But that's not getting you the views and clicks, is it, Mrs. Portland? Being nasty, ugly, and vile's getting you some views there. It's getting you some trolls in there, too. That's not really good for your mental health. But then you also said that Noodle Mash's crafts are, I know I'm not saying it word for word, but are horrible or whatever. Really? You're going to degrade someone else's crafts? Noodle Mash's crafts are very awesome, okay? She takes her time. She has her store on Etsy. She does them right, and it's something that I could never do. I don't have the patience to do what she does. It is very, they look very real. That is something I could never do. And I do a lot of different craft things. I haven't done as many as, I would like to do on my channel yet. But she does wonderful work, or people would not buy them. And as for jealousy, what would anybody be jealous of, Mrs. Portland? Now, I'm sure that there's some people out there that are jealous. They might not really jealous, but they might, well, I guess maybe jealous because you do live in an apartment, a 2-bedroom, nice apartment. You have, for somebody that is on such a tight fixed income, you got what, 2 laptops, a gaming system, nice washer and dryer there. A lot of people have absolutely no transportation, but you manage to get those, donated scooters to get to the store and stuff like that. You have every type of government assistance that a lot of people cannot get. So maybe some people that are homeless, or that can't get all the assistance that you are getting, that doesn't live in as nice of a place, and has Wi-Fi and all the video games and all the nice stuff, and still gets all the assistance you get. They might feel a little, slighted or jealous. But besides that, I don't know. I don't know who would be jealous, because no, I don't see anybody being jealous, okay? I just don't see it. Noodle is monetized. Noodle has memberships. And this is another thing. And then I'm going to go. I think I've covered everything I need to cover. Being monetized is nothing. That is not going to get you hardly any money. Very, very little. And when I mean little, I mean little. Not even enough to... I don't even know how much, but when I mean little, I mean very little. Where you're going to get your money from is memberships and super chats. And to have that, you have to have a pretty strong community or a pretty strong following, okay? And to have that, you cannot be ugly on social media. You can't sit there and put out lies on other people. You have to give them content. You can't do this deleting, dirty deleting, okay? And you have to give them something. Or they're not going to give you a membership for nothing if you're not going to do anything for them. They're asking for crafts. You could do great with your channel. They're even asking, to do cooking with your husband or whatever. And yes, drama sells, but you can't make up the drama. And that's what you're doing. You're making it up as you go. You're putting out stuff that's not true. And you will end up getting your channel down. And another thing, does this sound familiar? I got 10 backup channels. I guess you can buy subs too, for those backup channels. But the thing is, you can be monetized and make those pennies, but you're not, unless you have a strong following and put that content out there and stop the BS, you're not going to get the donations that you want. You're not going to get that extra income that you want, okay? So if you really want to walk away from this, then walk away. Just stop. It's as easy as that. Don't make another community post about Noodle. Don't make another video. Simple as that. Don't put out lies about other people, other creators. Don't put out, breaking news, guys. Breaking news. When you haven't vetted it and you don't know if it's true and you're spreading rumors. Spreading rumors is what you're doing. And then when you find out that it's not true, there's not I was wrong. Well, it doesn't even matter. You shouldn't be doing that anyways. You're only doing it to get back at somebody else that had nothing to do with the person that you're spreading the rumors about. With that, I'm going to go. I've already said enough. Again, look at the track record on who has lied and who hasn't. Plain and simple. And I'm not Portland Archives, not Kashmir. Just saying, okay? Because I've already been said to be both by Mrs. Portland. Because, she doesn't check anything. She doesn't. So, everyone, have a good evening. This already went on for too long. It might not even get put out until morning time. But, well, actually, there's one other thing that I want to say to the people that might be hurting Mrs. Portland just to get back at people that they don't like. Shame on you. Because in the long run, you're hurting Mrs. Portland. All right? That's what you're doing. You're hurting her. And for what? Just to get back at the person, that you had a falling out with or that you don't like? I mean, is that making you feel better at the end of the day. Someone that does have disabilities and might be confused easily and doesn't really know who to trust or whatever, and is confused, maybe confused about what is being hate attacked or whatever. Yes, she knows what she's doing. Sorry, she does. But I do believe that she is easily manipulated. Okay? And she will believe, or, maybe she won't believe. But if somebody gives her something, she's going to run with it. Absolutely. She's going to run with whatever anybody sent, like these emails. I'm sorry, but common sense will tell you that if these were supporters of Noodle Mash, they're not going to say, leave Noodle Mash alone, or Portland Archives, leave Portland Archives alone, because they would know that it's going to come back on Noodle Mash. The blame's going to come back on her as being her people, right? That's common sense. I'm thinking that it is the people that are feeding Mrs. Portland information, or the trolls that are against Mrs. Portland or trolling her, that are sending the emails. They have nothing to do with Noodle Mash. They're not supporters of Noodle Mash. I don't think her supporters would be sending emails to cause her further grief. That's common sense, right? Common sense. But some people lack it. So with that, I'm going to go. Again, everyone have a great evening and enjoy your weekend.